A single candle, a closing notebook, the phone face down. There is something happening in this room that most people have forgotten how to do. Something that does not require technology or willpower or a morning routine. It only requires the evening and the intention to use it well. Most of us end our days by collapsing. We scroll until we cannot keep our eyes open. We consume until there is no room left to think. And then we wonder why the next morning arrives already feeling like debt. In Japan, there is a concept called Yoru no Junbi. Yoru no Junbi, which translates imprecisely as evening preparation. It was practiced by samurai who understood that how you close a day determines how you open the next. By Zen monks who recognized that the quality of morning meditation depends on the quality of the night before. By scholars, merchants, and artisans across the Edo period who built their discipline not from morning routines, but from evening rituals. Tonight, I am going to give you 10 practices. Not hacks, not shortcuts, practices in the Japanese sense of the word. Things you return to, things that deepen with repetition, things that eventually become the shape of who you are. Each takes under 5 minutes. Together, they take less than 40. Practice 1. The hour of stillness. 1 hour before sleep, no screens. In Japan, this boundary is called Shizukesa no Jikan, the hour of quietness. This is not about discipline, it is about physiology. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, your brain's natural sleep signal, by up to 3 hours. When you remove screens an hour before sleep, you are not making a sacrifice, you are giving your nervous system permission to land. What do you do instead? In this video, I will tell you exactly. But for now, know this: the hour of stillness is the container that makes all 10 practices possible. Practice 2. Hansei, the evening mirror. Hansei is one of the most important practices in Japanese culture and one of the least understood outside it. It is often translated as reflection or self-criticism, but those translations miss the weight of the word. Hansei is closer to a ruthlessly honest audit of oneself, performed without self-punishment but without self-deception either. Each evening, find 5 minutes. Ask yourself 3 questions only. What did I do today that moved me toward who I want to become? What did I carry today that was not mine to carry? And what would I do differently if I lived today again? You do not write paragraphs. A single sentence for each is enough. The point is honesty, not volume. Practice 4. The single task declaration. Tomorrow does not need a list of 20 things. Tomorrow needs one thing. The single most important action you could take that would make everything else easier or unnecessary. The Japanese call this ichiban taisetsu na koto, the thing of first importance. Write it on a piece of paper tonight. Place it where you will see it when you wake, not in a digital app, on paper with your handwriting. The act of writing by hand is itself a form of commitment. Practice 5. The gratitude stone, kansha. Kansha is the Japanese practice of deep gratitude. Not the gratitude list of positive thinking culture, 5 things you are grateful for performed mechanically, but something more physical, more embodied. Find a stone, a river stone, smooth and dark, that fits in your palm. Each evening, hold it. Let its weight anchor you. Recall 3 specific moments of receiving today. A small kindness, a moment of warmth, something that arrived without your deserving it. Hold the stone until you feel the gratitude in your body, not merely in your mind. Practice 6. Preparing the space for tomorrow's self. Your future self, the person who will wake tomorrow, is in an important sense a stranger. They will not have your current clarity. They will not remember everything you know right now. Treat them as a guest you care for. Prepare their space. Set out what they will need. Clear the surface they will work at. Lay out the clothes they will wear. Leave a note, not a task list, but a single sentence of encouragement. Today, you will do the one thing. That is enough. Practice 6. Mushin, the breath of empty mind. Mushin means no mind. It is a state cultivated in martial arts, in calligraphy, in any practice where full presence is required. In the evening context, it is simpler than it sounds. Sit for 5 minutes. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Out for 8. As you exhale, imagine releasing the identity of today. The roles you played, the conversations that snagged you, the things left undone. You are not suppressing these things, you are setting them down deliberately, the way a swordsman sets down the sword when the day of training is finished.
Practice 7. The Night Journal. The Yoru no Nikki is not a diary in the Western sense. You are not recording events. You are sending a dispatch from the present to your future self. 3 to 5 sentences only. What happened today that surprised me? What did I feel beneath the surface of what I showed? What do I want to remember about this specific day 1 year from now? Writing in the evening crystallizes the day. Without this crystallization, most days simply dissolve. Practice 8. The tea ceremony of the night. The Japanese tea ceremony, chado, is not about tea. It is about learning to be fully present through the practice of making tea. In the evening, this translates simply: make 1 cup of tea consciously, not while doing something else, not quickly. Boil the water, watch the steam, pour with attention, hold the bowl in both hands, drink slowly. This ritual is not productive. That is precisely the point. The act of doing one small thing with complete attention teaches your nervous system what presence feels like. And that feeling, that state, is what you carry into sleep. Practice 9. Ma, preparing the sleep environment. Ma, Ida, is one of the most important and most untranslatable concepts in Japanese aesthetics. It means negative space, the meaningful emptiness between things, the silence between sounds, the pause between words. Applied to your sleep environment, Ma asks, what can you remove? Not what can you add, what can you eliminate? Turn off unnecessary lights. Put away anything that suggests tomorrow's work. Open a window slightly if weather permits. The Japanese believe fresh night air carries yoi ki, good energy. Your sleep environment should say one thing only. Here, you are released from the demands of the world. Practice 10. The closing bow, kansha no rei. The final practice. Before you sleep, not in bed but standing or seated, perform a small bow, a slight inclination of the head. In Japanese culture, the bow is not a performance of deference. It is a recognition that something real occurred. You bow to acknowledge the day as complete. You bow to release yourself from it. You bow to whatever you believe in, the universe, the people who shaped today, the version of yourself that showed up. The bow says, this day is finished and it was enough because it was real. Now, why does any of this matter? Why has this philosophy endured for centuries while the productivity systems of our own era feel obsolete within a decade? Because the Japanese were solving a different problem. They were not trying to do more. They were trying to become more through doing less more deliberately. Sleep is not recovery. It is not the absence of productivity. Sleep is where your brain performs its most extraordinary work. During deep sleep, the glymphatic system, your brain's biological waste clearance network, activates and flushes the metabolic byproducts of a day of thinking, including beta amyloid, the protein implicated in Alzheimer's disease. The hippocampus consolidates the day's learning into long-term memory. Emotional experiences are processed and reframed. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for judgment, decision-making, and impulse control, is restored. The samurai knew none of this neuroscience, but they understood the result. The warrior who slept with intention, who completed the day before closing his eyes, fought with clarity. The monk who closed the day with ritual meditated with depth. The calligrapher who prepared his space before sleep found his brush moving with ease in the morning. They were not lucky, they were systematic about rest in a way most modern people are not. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker has described sleep deprivation as the single most powerful performance-impairing factor available to a human being. More than alcohol, more than stress, more than poor nutrition. And yet we treat sleep as what remains after everything else is done. The Japanese tradition inverts this entirely. Sleep is not what remains. Sleep is the foundation. The evening ritual is how you protect and honor that foundation.
There is a word in Japanese, Yasuragi. It describes a specific quality of peace. Not the peace of exhaustion, not the peace of giving up, the peace that comes from having lived a day with purpose and completed it with grace. Yasuragi is earned. It cannot be manufactured. You cannot achieve it by scrolling until you are too tired to continue. You achieve it only when the day has been properly closed. So what does this look like, practiced? The evening begins when you close the laptop or leave the workplace, not when you arrive at bed. You move through the hour of stillness, no screens. You perform Hansei. You write your single task declaration for tomorrow. You hold the gratitude stone. You prepare the space. You breathe, Mushin. You write 3 sentences in your night journal. You make 1 cup of tea. You clear and prepare your sleep environment. And you close with a bow. 40 minutes, maybe less, for a night of sleep that restores rather than merely passes. For a morning that begins from readiness rather than from catch-up. For a life that, over years of practice, begins to feel shaped by intention rather than driven by circumstance. I want to leave you with one final Japanese concept, Kaizen. It means continuous improvement, but its literal meaning is more precise, change for better. Kaizen does not demand transformation. It demands only that today be marginally better than yesterday. Begin with one practice tonight. The candle, or the breath, or the bow. Let that single practice be your beginning. The rest will come. Will you begin tonight? Light the candle, close the notebook, put the phone face down. Let the evening become what it was always meant to be, not an ending, but a preparation. If this practice found you at the right moment, if something in these words landed, consider subscribing. I share one Japanese philosophy each week, not productivity hacks, philosophy, the kind that compounds, the kind that practiced over years quietly changes what it means to live a day. Your future self will thank you.